So first half was complete and utter domination from Arsenal.
Yeah, the way particularly Gabriel Martinelli handled it.
He just set so much pain that he couldn't even think where he rolled. And then you come there to push him off the pitch.
Gabriel Martinelli, and I know that he's not a mean-spirited person. The fact is, he's probably the latter stage of the game. Feels like they're under pressure, trying to win the game. Last stages, that's out of order. Absolutely, there's no excuse for that.
For the Premier League.
Gary Neville exploded with anger. He was furious with Gabriel Martinelli after the Brazilian pushed Connor Bradley, who went down injured on the pitch. But what Neville said about Martinelli shocked England, and you'll see that shortly. And at the end of the video, I'll give my opinion on all this controversy that is dividing the fans. Arsenal missed the chance to open up an 8-point lead over Manchester City after drawing 0-0 at home against Liverpool. Now take a look at the reaction of the pundits after this tense match.
I would have taken a 0-0
After half an hour.
Well, it took Liverpool 25 minutes. The highlight we showed was the first time Liverpool had any possession of the ball and any sort of strike at goal. After that, in terms of strikes at goal, Liverpool still didn't have any. But the second half was competitive. The first half wasn't competitive. Arsenal had Liverpool penned in. Liverpool could not get out, couldn't keep the ball, and then when somebody actually got a hold of it, everybody was too busy defending. There was nowhere to go. So first half was complete and utter domination from Arsenal. Arsenal's front three, completely blunt, totally blunt. Gyökeres probably could have been better off sat on the bench beside his manager.
Yep.
But the second half was competitive. Neither side created any real chances. And at the end of the day, I guess 0-0 is probably the right result.
And of course for poor Connor Bradley, who's been so unfortunate with injury. Some fairly strong words there from Arne Slot. The incident was just down to our right-hand side here with the challenge on the Northern Ireland International, and then the reaction from Gabriel Martinelli. What did you make of this, Michael?
Well, first of all, yeah, it does look a nasty one. There looks like there's a roll of the ankle there, and he's in some pain. You see him tapping the floor. It's an awkward one because 9 times out of 10 players can go down and can stay down. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with Arne Slot there. Frimpong stayed down when he thought there was a penalty early in the first, and there was no way he was hurt there, but he stayed down. You know, I don't necessarily agree with that. However, that's poor. Throwing the ball at him to start with and then pretending that you are concerned by patting him and saying, oh, are you okay? And then sticking your knee in him and trying to push him off and then using your arms to push him off. That's not good. And obviously it's made worse by the fact that it could be a serious injury. You know, and as I say, 9 times out of 10, it's okay to do that. People play acting, people are wasting time, whatever. But there was no reason for Liverpool to waste time at the minute. They were having a good second half. And the outcome of it, if Connor Bradley is seriously injured, it's not a good look for Martinelli. Not at all.
Can you understand why the Liverpool players were incensed there?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I'm sure, I know Gabriel Martinelli, and I know that he's not a mean-spirited person. The fact is, he's probably the latter stage of the game. Feels like they're under pressure, trying to win the game. Last stages, that's out of order. Absolutely, there's no excuse for that. And you can see now, you can start to see that he looks like he's in pain. So that don't look good on his point of view. And again, look from his point of view, he's thinking that he's gone down, the game's over nearly, and he's wasting time. That's what he's thinking. Has he taken that from the fact that Frimpong was doing it in the first half? I don't know, but there's no excuse for that. I can't really say anything other than he probably thought it wasn't as injured as he was.
Yeah.
And how much do you feel for Connor Bradley? Because it seems just when he gets in the Liverpool team, when he gets a run in the Liverpool team, something like that happens to him.
Yeah, and it's not like a repetition of the same injury all the time, is it? It's different injuries.
Yeah.
Well, let me just give you this stat. His longest run of consecutive starts in his Premier League career is 8.
Wow.
And not so long ago, I was reading numbers, maybe only about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and someone told me that he's actually been injured about 50% of the time. He's not been available for selection in about 50% of games in the last 2 years. For somebody that's very young, that's not a great stat, obviously. And it's the reason why when Trent Alexander-Arnold left, Liverpool didn't just sit back and think, right, Connor Bradley's our right back. They had to go and get cover because of that injury. Then came in. ironically, he got injured as well, and we've seen Endo play there. We've been seeing Szoboszlai, we've been Curtis Jones, we've been Goma. You know, there's lots of different stand-in right back.
Does that make this, what Arne Slot thinks is a serious injury, even more of a worry now going forward? Because it's been a problem position with all those players you've just listed having to play there.
Of course, so they have got, as I say, you know, Frimpong's back playing now. He might have to revert to right back if Conor Bradley's injury is as bad as we first fear. Then they've got other people that can play out a position, let's say. However, it's not good, obviously, being young and getting injured so many times. I know, I felt it myself. It's the most frustrating, horrible thing in the world. I know people think, oh, you paid for this, you paid for that. It's... When you're 8 years old, when you're 10 years old, when you're 12 years old, you don't think of money, you don't think of anything else other than this, playing against Arsenal, playing in these big games. You just want to play football. All the fame, everything else comes with it, fantastic. But the main thing you want to do is kick a ball around with your mates. And it's so heartbreaking when that gets taken away from you. A bit of bad luck, whatever it might be. And it's happened again, sadly.
You know, you could see the way he was trying to clear that ball. It was an awkward kind of turn what he done on his, you could see it, and you can almost see the way he kicked the ball out. When you watch him, he's there, you could see that Gabriel Martinelli, he actually wasn't looking at him, so he wouldn't have seen how he's gone down. So all that, again, I don't even like seeing it, all that's happening, but he's not seen that, because as soon as I saw that, the way he went down trying to clear it, he wasn't in contact with anybody. So I'm thinking, you know what I mean, he's done something there, and that's not good. It doesn't look good. I'm really sorry to see that. Hopefully it's not too bad for him.
Yeah, we keep our fingers crossed for Conor Bradley.
Now, can you just tell us, you've obviously worked with him for a long time, the type of character Gabriel Martinelli is, because there's obviously that moment at the end where it looks like Conor Bradley might be seriously injured, and he goes to roll him off the pitch. Has he just made a mistake there, your player?
Probably he doesn't know, because knowing Gavi is zero intention. I don't know what happened to Conor, but hopefully it's not bad. But obviously there is no intention from Gavi to do anything bad to him.
Did that upset you at the end, not just the injury, but the way particularly Gabriel Martinelli handled it?
I think if a player of us is on the floor, people might know by now that is... Normally I say 19 out of 100 times, or maybe I should say 100 out of 100 times, then there's something wrong with that player. And I think you could see this. Yeah, you don't like to see a player being moved if he might have such a big injury. So yeah, that was indeed an incident that happened, that I didn't like to see one of my players being moved out of the pitch if he might have such a big injury, which we don't know yet, but might be.
Can I just ask you what you made of what happened at the end? I saw that you were right there. Conor Bradley obviously went down injured. Martinelli trying to roll him off the pitch. What did you make of that? Did that anger you as Liverpool players?
I see that Conor twisted his knee. I don't know what is going on with him. And obviously he didn't want to come back to the pitch to make it time wasting or something. He just had so much pain that he couldn't even think where he rolled. And then you come there to push him off the pitch. I understand that you want to win. We want to win as well. But I think the health of a player is much more important than something else.
The former Manchester United defender Gary Neville was visibly furious after Liverpool defender Conor Bradley had to be taken off on a stretcher following a controversial incident against Arsenal. He fell to the ground while trying to clear the danger. Bradley attempted to kick the ball out, but ended up falling awkwardly, remaining on the ground in pain. The situation worsened when Arsenal forward Gabriel Martinelli threw the ball at the injured player and then tried to push him off the pitch to speed up the restart. The incident sparked a general scuffle involving several players. During the chaos, Ibrahima Konate received a yellow card for his involvement, in an episode considered regrettable by many commentators. Gary Neville did not hide his indignation at what he described as a lack of compassion from Martinelli. The pundit was clearly shaken by the incident and strongly criticized the actions that followed, reigniting the debate about fair play and respect on the pitch. "You can't push him off the pitch? You can't do that," Neville said, before calling Martinelli an idiot. "I'm surprised no Liverpool player went over there and gave him a proper telling off. I think an apology is needed. I'm furious with Martinelli. I don't know how no Liverpool player went over there and punched him, taking a red card. Absolutely disgraceful." Roy Keane said, "I didn't like that at all. It's happened to me before. It's not nice. First, throwing the ball at him, standing over him. He's got a bit of force on his knee. He's trying to force him off the pitch. I think that behavior is an absolute disgrace. I was surprised the Liverpool players didn't go after him a bit more. He's a good lad for going down on his own. They weren't pretty scenes. I hope he reflects on what happened and apologizes. Arsenal started the match pressing, but Liverpool responded well and created the best chances of the game. Connor Bradley hit the crossbar after a defensive mistake, and Szoboszlai nearly scored in the closing minutes. Lacking attacking efficiency, Liverpool posed little threat inside the penalty area, while Arsenal only managed shots on target late in the second half, coming close to scoring through Martinelli and Gabriel. The match, however, was overshadowed by Connor Bradley's serious injury and Gabriel Martinelli's controversial reaction. The fullback was stretchered off after twisting his ankle and injuring his knee, worsening Liverpool's defensive crisis as the team is already suffering from key absences and has Joe Gomez as the only experienced defensive option. In my opinion, Gabriel Martinelli displayed a clearly unsporting attitude, with no justification whatsoever within the context of the game. I fully agree with the criticism from Gary Neville and Roy Keane, because the forward's behavior was exaggerated, impulsive, and completely out of control. By throwing the ball at Connor Bradley, who was already on the ground in pain, and then attempting to push him off the pitch, Martinelli crossed every acceptable line. This was not a footballing challenge, nor competitive intensity. It was a total lack of respect for an opponent who was clearly hurt. The yellow card can even be considered lenient. Honestly, had the referee shown a red card, there would have been little room for debate, as the incident was serious enough to warrant it. The episode does not reflect the values of football or the sporting spirit expected from a player of Martinelli's caliber. The laws of the game are clear. A player's physical integrity must always come first. In that moment, Martinelli completely ignored his opponent's pain and reacted in a deplorable manner, something unacceptable to the football community as a whole. I hope this incident serves as a lesson for the player, so that such behavior does not happen again in the future. More than that, it is important that he acknowledges his mistake and apologizes, especially to Connor Bradley, who was the one most affected by the incident. Finally, I would like to wish Connor Bradley a swift and full recovery, so that he can return to action as soon as possible. Did Gabriel Martinelli deserve a red card? Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything.